Hello everyone, it has been a very busy week. But you know what's really cool about it? When you are busy working on something you love, you always keep learning. Here are therefore my 3 practical tips of the week for those of you who run a kennel or a cattery. Earlier this week, I sat on a webcast, and you guys know how much I love those things. And this webcast was touching on sanitation in animal shelters. And let me tell you this, in this field there are lots of great ideas that can be fully applied to kennels and catteries. During this presentation, there was a discussion about the use of pressure washer, and the presenters did not recommend it. While it can be considered as a great option for cleaning, it might potentially spread germs and organic matter all around. It might potentially create an aerosol containing infectious pathogens. Instead of helping prevent infectious diseases, it might actually spread them. Point number 1, therefore, when it comes to cleaning, get a scrub. Forget about the pressure washer. Later during this week, a veterinary clinic contacted me to discuss a case they were dealing with. It was about a bitch that gave birth to 6 puppies 2 weeks and a half before. The bitch was presented to the clinic because her owners found her exhibiting seizure-like symptoms. Does this ring a bell? If not, let me give you a help. This is evocative of something we call eclampsia. This is a state of hyperexcitability that typically leads to muscular tremors and seizures, and it is caused by hypocalcemia. Calcium is an important mineral, and high amounts of it will be required during the last part of gestation and especially during lactation. If the calcium intake is not sufficient, well, the bitch might develop eclampsia. And this typically happens when lactation peaks, which is 2-3 weeks after parturition. I find that many bitches that develop eclampsia have something in common. They are usually fed with a homemade diet, typically meat-based, which is severely deficient in calcium. The bitch here was fed with raw meat only, and she developed eclampsia during her lactation, at 2 weeks and a half into it. These days, it becomes more and more common, which leads me to this reminder on how to feed a lactating bitch. Point number 2, free feed the bitch during lactation. That is the only time I will ever say that. And use a diet meant for growth, typically for weaning puppies. It must be complete and balanced. That is still the best way to prevent eclampsia in the bitch. And this week, I was also polishing new presentations, genetics and reproduction, in canine and feline breeding. Always an exciting phase, you know. You gather information, perspectives, you give it some thoughts, and then you go live and present your ideas. And this will happen very soon. Those are presentations I created for a series of lectures I will be giving in August. It will be in South Africa. I'm flying there by the end of next week. And I can tell you, I'm really looking forward to it. One of the things I will be discussing in this presentation is what geneticists call inbreeding depression. That is a very important concept dog and cat breeders need to be aware of. Think about the definition of inbreeding. It literally means breeding with related individuals. All canine and feline breeds come from a group of founder individuals, which means when you breed, inbreeding is always involved to a certain degree. Is it bad? Not necessarily. As always, there are pros and cons, and this is what we will discuss in those presentations. And in the preparation phase, I ran into this sentence: the more intense the inbreeding, the more careful and stringent must be the selection. You breed dogs and cats? You must know about the degree of inbreeding and how it can influence your breeding program. If you want to breed, you need to have a very good understanding about genetics. And that's my point number 3. And stay tuned, because later this month I will release some of the materials I created for this specific series of lectures. Okay, that's all for today. Those were my 3 tips of the week. And if you have questions, comments, anecdotes, feel free to share them with me. You know where to find me.